So now if we're very comfortable working with decimal numbers, I'm not surprised, calculators handle decimal numbers very well. Most of us use calculators. A lot of the fractions that we commonly use, like half and quarter, we all know in our head. We've memorized what the decimal equivalents for half and quarter and three-quarter are. So it's usually pretty not a problem to work between fractions and decimals. But right now we're working with some weird fractions, right? 1/8, 5/8, 3/16. What are those decimal values? See, there's a couple of ways of calculating that and figuring that out, but what I want you to do is I want you to do it the easiest way possible. And the easiest way possible is not using math. In fact, the easiest way to calculate decimal equivalents for fractions is to use a chart, okay? So if you go to the back of your course pack, in the very last section, there's an appendix. An appendix just means additional information. That's kind of helpful on A1, and we're going to scrub through till we get to A2, and what we're going to see is a decimal to fraction conversion chart. So what do we do? How do we use this thing? Well, let's go down the left column here, and these are our common fractions. If we wanted to consider, for example, 1/2, right? 1/2 of an inch. What is the decimal equivalent to 1/2? Well, it's 0.5 if we are rounding to two places, right? It is 0.50, and it is 0.5000 if we're going to 4 places. So look, the deal is 0.5 and 0.50 and 0.500 or 5000, they're all the same thing, right? So what you want to do is figure out how many decimal places you're working to, and then do your conversion by looking at the equivalent. How about 1/4, right? We know 1/4, if we go to 2 places, is 0.25. If we go to 3 places, it's 250. And if we go to 4 places, it's 0.2500. Okay, so you already knew that though, right? You knew a 1/4 inch was 0.25. How about some of these other ones? Do you know 5/8 of an inch, what the decimal equivalent is? Well, you know what? You don't have to think about how to do it or do it mathematically. Just look on the chart here, 5/8 of an inch, right? So what are the decimal equivalents? Well, it depends how much rounding we're doing. See, if we're going to the nearest thousandth, 3 places, then 5/8 is actually 0.625 inches. Now, if we're going to 2 decimal places, you see what it's doing here? 0.63. See, it's rounding up, right? Because the 5 changes the 2 into a 3. So it's important to know 2 things if we want to convert fractions from common fraction to decimal. We need to know what's the common fraction we want and how precise are we going. Are we going in 2 places, 3 places, 4 places? Okay, so I would strongly suggest using this conversion chart anytime you are working in common fractions and have to go to decimal, or you get some weird decimal number and you're trying to figure out what the common fraction is. If I tell you 0.4375 and you have no idea what the common fraction is, 0.4375, let's see, that's 4 places, so go down the list till we find it. 0.4375, there it is. And if we look over to the left, we see, okay, that's 7/16 of an inch. Okay, so the decimal to fraction conversion chart will be your friend as you're working back and forth between common fractions and decimal fractions.